Sorry about the entrance, guys. I forgot to put my hat on, and trust me, you don't want to see my hair. Good morning and welcome, or good evening and welcome to DoMoreLife. I'm glad you guys are with me today, and very excited to bring you some more news and travel updates regarding Thailand travel and tourism here in 2021. This is an update for July the 8th, 2021. And hopefully you found the information in this video very valuable, as I'm going to provide some information on what's currently going on in the tourism industry, what's currently going on with Thailand trying to secure foreign tourism coming back to Thailand. And we're also going to talk about a few other subjects. So let me just briefly read you today's description, and you will know exactly what the video will entail. Today's live discussion will focus on Thailand travel and tourism updates for July the 8th, 2021. The following topics will be discussed: the Phuket Sandbox, the Samui Plus reopening, foreign tourist arrivals in Thailand, foreign tourism in Thailand, Pattaya, Thailand's reopening in September. That's right. Pattaya is planning on reopening in September now. They've changed a little bit. Thailand's current state of infections across the country and the response to the cases of infections. Traveling Thailand in 2021 with certificates of entry. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Hello, Mr. LMAO. Good to see you. Hope you are doing well also, my friend. And thank you for the good wishes on a good stream. Hopefully we will have a nice stream here. This is going to be a information-filled stream, that's for sure. Asia Unscripted, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for dropping by. I really appreciate it. Hope you are doing well over in the West. Hope everything's going very well for you, and life is not throwing you too many curveballs, that's for sure. So we'll start with today has been another record-breaking day here. Anon, what's up, man? Yeah, it is. As of right now, Anon, you have a good point that I cannot argue with. The Do More News thing is just kind of where it's at right now. There's we're really being encouraged to stay home. And to be honest with you, with today's caseload, I'm sure you already know what the numbers are, but I'm going to tell everybody anyway. Let me just get that out of the way first. So 7,058 cases today, with 75 people who are no longer with us. And with these numbers expected to reach over 10,000 a day next week, that's according to the CCSA in Thailand. I feel safer staying at home, to be honest with you. I'm not one of those people that are super concerned about catching the virus or that kind of thing. But I do think it's very important, if I can help by staying at home, I'm going to stay at home. And today, of course, you guys know I'm in the middle of a furlough at work. So I'm only working a few days a week, like 2 days a week, maybe 3 days a week. And that's going to be pretty much my entire personal update, because I really don't have any other information to give you on me right now. So it's more of the same in terms of my personal self. So we're going to talk about Thailand and tourism, and we're also going to talk about some domestic tourism and some rules and restrictions that are being put in place by different provinces here in the country, which I find to be critical to Thailand's tourism industry. Hello to Thai Guy Bra. I hope you are doing well, sir. I am definitely doing well. In fact, I'm doing awesome. I just living life one day at a time, and taking things one day at a time. Doing the best we can do, and that's all you can ask for. Peter, good to see you from Australia. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm glad to catch some of you guys from down under at this time. It's a little bit later, a few hours later than I normally do my live streams, but it's good to have somewhat of a new audience in here. So that's nice. Nothing against you channel members and guys that have been around a long time. Just we always want to expand the channel. Robert Mack, good morning to you, sir. It's very good to see you. And hey, Jose, it is very good to see you as well, my friend. Melee and Larry, welcome. Swati, they say. And back to you. Ross says, hey, JC. Hey, Ross, good to see you, my friend. Whose comment did I mean? Anon. Personally, I find this to be great news. Spread faster plus less dangerous equals burning itself out. You got a good point. That's a fair point, Anon. And we may talk about that in depth a little bit more a little bit later. Michael, Travel Vlogs. Hi, everyone from Iowa, USA. Planning on going on a 3-month venture in Thailand in November. That's a pretty good time to plan on coming, Michael. Good for you, bud. Congratulations on having the patience to wait. I think that's a great idea. Absolutely great idea. Robert has dropped the PayPal link and the Cash App link. These are for contributions to the channel, to keep the channel going, keep channel equipment, when we go back traveling, we use it to go back traveling. I'll pin the message to the top. Contributions are not a requirement for this channel, but are greatly appreciated. Lyle says 5 up, 1 down. Being a troll hoodie life must suck. Yeah, it must. Anna says, by the way, notification worked perfectly today. That's great. Ross says driving, so don't ask me any questions. Fair enough, Ross. You got it, bud. Melly and Larry says best weather that time of year. Michael, yes, that's true. That is the start of high season. Actually, it's a little bit into high season, so very good choice of time, Michael. And I think you will enjoy that time of the year. Really get started between November and about March is the best times the best time of the year to really come and be able to fully enjoy Thailand. And if you guys are enjoying this content, please feel free to hit the thumbs up button. I would greatly appreciate it, as it does help the channel and the video. And now we will get into the news. So first, let's talk about the Phuket Sandbox model and what's going on down there. So first, the Phuket Sandbox I did a video short on this yesterday, saw its first imported infection from a UAE traveler who tested positive on the initial arriving test. There's been no word on the second test yet, not that I'm aware of. If you guys have more information, please feel free to write it in the comment section. Everybody in his group, which I assume meant the people that were on his flight that came into Phuket, that I could be wrong on that. They may have a different grouping system, but that's my understanding. We're refunded their SHA plus hotel stays, but then it is my understanding they were forced to pay for an ASQ quarantine. So they are all now in ASQ, awaiting, I guess, their test results and that kind of thing. Michael says, awesome, good to know. I was looking forward to a New Year Moon Festival in November. You might get it. You very well might get it by November. I will tell you that November has always been a pleasant month for me. My birthday is also in November, so I always have a good time here. Love Talking Ross says, how much would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I love it. They're picking at each other, guys. So the Phuket Sandbox, really, to be honest with you, has gone off fairly well. I want to see if I can get you some numbers real quick on what the actually how many people have actually come in. It's just under 2,000, I believe, people have actually come into the Sandbox itself. I see these articles everywhere, and I always forget to tag them correctly. 2,000 arrivals as of 23 hours ago, and only one infection. So to give Thailand credit, they've done an outstanding job in what they've done for sure. Jonathan, welcome to the chat. He says, I'm not afraid of a runny nose, just can't find someone to help with the COE STV visa. It's my understanding that the special tourist visa is either gone or going away in September. I can't remember if it's currently gone or it's already gone. Not sure on that, Jonathan. I wish I could bring you up to speed. The STV was not a big hit here in Thailand. The special tourist visa, for the purposes of foreign tourism in 2021, it did not work as planned. Or it worked. The scheme worked, but nobody really wanted to do it because it still required the 14-day queue and the the insurance and everything else that comes with it. I would advise you, Jonathan, and again, I'm not a travel agent. I'm not a doctor. This is not travel advice. This is not, or not professional travel advice. This is not medical advice. This is not any kind of professional advice or suggestion. This is just from what I've experienced. I can tell you that I would strongly recommend you contacting a legal professional that deals with immigration, and the one that we tend to promote most on this channel is Integrity Legal. They are out of Bangkok. Again, that's Integrity Legal. They do a lot with immigration and can really help you prepare your paperwork, and they're fairly expensive, but they can also save you a lot of headache. So you have to decide whether the time is worth the money or not, and whether the headache is worth the money. You can also use another legal service. It doesn't have to be Integrity Legal, but there are plenty of services available. I would be very careful and very cautious using agents to help that. So I don't know that I would go the agent route, but definitely a legal professional would be in your best interest, because putting together the COE requires, the certificate of entry requires a number of things to happen, and they have to happen on a time frame. Like, you have to have the final test no more than 72 hours before you board your flight. So things like that are super important when it comes to making sure that you get here on time, that you have your paperwork. And that's what it takes to be a foreign tourist in Thailand in 2021, especially in July of 2021, when everything is still, they're kind of working things out, so to speak. You could come in on, if you can get a certificate of entry, you got two options. You could do the Phuket thing for where you're isolated on the island for 14 days. And then you can supposedly travel around Thailand. We're going to get into why it's going to run into some hiccups very shortly. I will get into that. And then you could possibly even do the Samui Plus program, which we're going to talk about in just a minute too. You could do that, or you could come in on just your standard tourist visa. If you're willing to do a 14-day ASQ, you could go to Bangkok or Chiang Mai or wherever you wanted to go that provided ASQ hotels. You could come in on a 60-day tourist visa, do 14 days. It's actually 15 total, but do those days in an ASQ facility, and then you can proceed on from there. Anon says, link to $100,000 C insurance. Thank you very much, sir. That is a good link, Jonathan. If you're looking to have the insurance that you need to have $100,000 in insurance. Right now would be the worst time in the world to come to Bangkok. in my opinion, Jonathan. I don't think I would be making any plans to come to Bangkok right now. Bangkok is currently the epicenter of this new wave of infections, and Bangkok has the highest rate. I would not make plans to come to Bangkok anytime soon. In fact, there are talks. The CCSA has talked about locking down Bangkok itself. And I have proof of that. Probably Pattaya. That's a good idea. They're talking about reopening in September, and I'll get more into that shortly in this live stream as well. Anon, I can't leave that link in there. I'm sorry, bud. I can't remove it either. Can you pull that link out, please, Anon? I know you're just trying to help out there, but that link about the test, that would be great. If you could retract that, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir. Let's see here. I missed Pete's comment. Pete says I will be there on the 15th. Great. Good, Pete. I hope everything works out well for you. I really do. I assume you're coming in to Phuket. If not, let us know. Ty Guy Bryce says this month sucks. I was supposed to be in Pattaya for my birthday. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I really am. Being in Pattaya for a birthday is a wonderful thing. I've spent 2 of my 3 birthdays that I've been here. I've spent them in Pattaya and had a great time. Pattaya is a really amazing city with a lot of activities to enjoy. I'm just going to say Mike, okay? Says, indeed, the COE is hardly fun, but to your point on paying others to do it, I recommend doing it yourself. Oh, okay. If you do have someone else do it, be expecting delays as well as responses from the embassies. Okay, fair enough. In the middle of the night, you need to reply urgently. Ah, I see. Okay. So if you have someone else do it, you may get responses in the middle of the night because yeah. I got you, bud. I got you. And yeah, you have to do the COE in your home country too, by the way. And Anon says he agrees that the COE is easy. I don't know. I haven't done a COE, guys. I've been living in Thailand for more than 3 years now straight. So if the COE is difficult, I wouldn't know it. I just know there are several steps that you have to take to it. You're welcome, Jonathan. No problem. Anon says he agrees. Visas can be a little problematic with the changing rules, so assistance may help there. Fair enough. Law says with the 60-day visa, does that include ASQ? It doesn't include. I mean, when you get in, you get a 60-day tourist visa. They don't have like a 75-day tourist visa. So you get, in other words, 15 of those days are going to get eaten up by the ASQ. So your other option is to come in on a visa exemption stamp, which gives you 45 days. So then you would have the 15 days of ASQ or the 14, they call it 14 days, but it takes 15. You would have that in Phuket as well. And then you would have 30 days to enjoy whatever whatever else you wanted to do. Same thing here. You would have time to enjoy and do whatever you wanted to do if you just did a regular ASQ and came by the visa exemption snap with 45 days. So in that case, because that used to be a 30-day stamp, so it's still really a 30-day stamp, but you get the 15 days to complete your ASQ. And there'll be 3 tests during that ASQ, by the way. Anon can answer all those questions for you because he literally just went through it again. He's done it twice. Same without the offending word and URL. Thank you, Anon, very much. Appreciate that, bro. My say Anon, yep. It depends on the person and the level of tolerance for government offices. Fair enough. That's a fair point. Anon says the above site allows you to get needed testing done within 72 hours to meet tight requirements. Cool. Well, yeah. Not the best in the world. Anon says law 60 days include the queue time, but you can then do a 30-day extension while in country. So that answers Jonathan's question. That's true. You can do a 30-day extension on that 60-day tourist visa for another 1,900 baht. And you can also do an extension, a 30-day extension on the 45-day extension, or on the 45-day exemption. You can do that for 1,900 baht as well. And I says to Jonathan, I understand it. As I understand it, they are not issuing multiple entry tourist visas right now. Correct. They are not doing that. 100%. All right. So let's talk about Pattaya looking at September for reopening. To me, this is exciting because Pattaya is a place that needs to be open. I really love the city. And it's awesome. And I says, nope, only can do a 15-day extension on the exempt stamp. That is news to me. I stand corrected, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Anon, for correcting me. I appreciate that. Was not aware of that. Don't know when that changed, but have no reason to doubt you. So, when in doubt, go to thaivisa.com. They'll have everything for you there, guys. But I believe Anon. So you get a 15-day extension on the exempt stamp. That would, that actually makes sense because the theory behind it is before this whole mess started, you would get a 30-day exemption stamp, and then you could extend it for 30 more days to get a total of 60 days. So now you get a 45-day stamp to include your ASQ, so you get 30 days in, 15 days in ASQ, and then you would get a 15-day extension, which would give you a total of 60 days in country. So that does make sense. Let's talk about Pattaya looks into September reopening despite uptick in the current infections going around of C19. Despite the uptick in the infections, Pattaya is planned to reopen for foreign arrivals possibly in September under a scheme similar to Phuket and the trio of islands off Surat Thani, where tourists who are vaccinated against C19 can enter without undergoing a 14-day queue. Yesterday, the Pattaya city mayor met with the deputy mayors and those in the tourism industry. This is from the Tiger, by the way. In the tourism industry to discuss the plans to reopen the popular tourist destination. Officials have also discussed using Koh Larn, an island off the coast of Pattaya, much like the Phuket Sandbox, since it is easy to monitor those entering and leaving an island or use it as a sealed route for trips. That makes sense. No more developments have been reported on the Koh Larn idea. I mean, that would make perfect sense. Koh Larn is a nice big island off of Pattaya. There are many islands off of Pattaya. In fact, I have a playlist called The Islands of Pattaya that you can watch on this channel. And the using Koh Larn as kind of a buffer for entrance to Pattaya sounds like a great idea to me. Chonburi, which includes Pattaya, continues to rank in the top 10 province with the highest daily COVID infections. And the recent wave of infections, more than 10,000 people in Chonburi have tested positive for the virus. For the reopening plan to be approved, at least 70% of the population in Pattaya it needs to be inoculated with at least their first dose of the jab. But with the order of the locally made AZ vax being cut short this month, the Thai government is now focusing on at-risk groups, starting with those in Bangkok, the epicenter of infections. That's why I told you, Jonathan, maybe wait on Bangkok. Let's see, where was I? There is no set vaccination plan for Pattaya's general population. So no firm reopening plan is in place, but Pattaya officials are working with the Tourism Authority of Thailand, or TAT, and plan to submit a proposal to the National Security Council and the CCSA. So there's nothing written in stone. There's not even a full proposal yet, but I thought it was worth mentioning because Pattaya is a city that needs to reopen. It needs to reopen fast before because right now you have to understand all the bars and clubs are closed in that city. The restaurants and stuff are open, but they're still under curfew, and I believe there's an alcohol ban currently in the city. So you have to understand from their perspective, it's not really open yet. It's more of a there's no reason for foreign tourists to really enjoy. There's no nightlife there. There's no the entertainment that comes along with the nightlife, concerts, etc. There's nothing really there for them to enjoy. So foreign tourism in Pattaya is not really foreign tourism. It's more like foreign expats are there at the moment. Okay, let me go back up and answer a few questions here, or address a few things. And says, DoMoreLife, at least that is what I've read. Authoritative source, maybe not. It's okay. It makes sense. The number of days makes sense, so I wouldn't doubt it. LMAO, actually, you can get a COVID extension on a visa exempt stamp. Just realize that it is up to the discretion of the immigration officer that you're ridiculously polite to. Yes, that's 100% correct. That whole statement is 100% correct. But the COVID extension is something I'm not going to get into right now because it's there's a lot of there's not a lot of details surrounding it. There's requirements for it, but it's stuff like I can't leave because the risk is too high, or things of that nature. But he's right in what he said. And says, yeah, the C extension is a wild card thing. It is. It definitely is. Just because you apply for it doesn't mean you're going to get it, unfortunately. And says, one thing that a person could do queue in Bangkok and then plan to leave immediately thereafter. That's true. And I'm sure you know that from experience. So, Jonathan, if you wanted to do your queue in Bangkok, you could do that, but then scramble about. That probably would not be excuse me, that probably would not be a bad idea. All right, moving on. Let me go back to my mail real quick and make sure that we're staying on some topics here. So we talked about the Phuket Sandbox, the Samui Plus reopening. Let me just briefly inform you guys of what, and I'm going to give you a brief description of what that is. No further details have been passed along to me at this point if you've watched any other live streams in the past, but I will tell you that the Samui Plus reopening basically consists of this. You can fly into Koh Samui, and you will stay on Koh Samui for at least 7 days, possibly 14 days. You have to stay in an isolated area of Samui for 4 days, okay? Hello, gotta love Thailand, even though you're saying hello to Mike. That's cool. But it's good to see you. So you will have 7 to 14 days on Koh Samui, okay? Again, it's like a sandbox model, but you will be there, and you will be able to enjoy one of the most beautiful islands in Thailand. You'll be there. You have your 3 tests, that kind of thing, and then you'll be given the option to be able to go to Koh Phangan and Koh Tao. which are more beautiful islands near Koh Samui. So you essentially get access to three wonderful islands there in Thailand. And they plan to begin this on July 15th of this month. Now, Ross says nothing wrong with 7 days in Koh Samui. I spent 2 years there. Yeah. I'm sure there's that would be a good place to spend some time. Jonathan says that's what I was thinking. Easy in and easy out for the fun. Fair enough. Anna says the nice thing about doing Q in Bangkok is that there are a lot of choices for food delivery. Grab, Food Panda, etc. The food provided by Q gets old really fast. I can imagine. I've heard some people compare it to like hospital food, and that's not a good look. So if you can order out, that would probably be in your best interest. So the Samui Plus sounds like a great idea to me. And just because they had one infection in Phuket so far does not mean that the Phuket Sandbox is going to get scrapped or anything. I haven't even heard anything about that. I have heard some potentially bad news about Bangkok and surrounding areas, and I'm going to get into that. They're actually talking about real lockdowns again here in Thailand, in this area of Thailand. So it kind of makes me wonder what the tourists who were planning to come to like Bangkok and other areas that could be forced into a lockdown. What are they going to do after their 14 days are up in Phuket or their time is up in Koh Samui? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And that's something that I'll try to address. Anna says, DoMoreLife thing someplace between hospital food and school lunch. Oh, that doesn't sound good at all. So foreign tourism in Thailand right now is on a, at least in 2021, has been very slow. The people that you really see coming back are the expats that have family over here or have businesses set up over here. There are actual tourists coming, regular foreign tourists that just want to see Phuket and want to visit Thailand or whatever. But for the most part, the quote unquote diehard expats, the people that really enjoy Thailand and have been here before and want to continue to come and that kind of thing, those are the people that you see coming in so far. In terms of foreign tourism, very few have come, and the few that have come are, of course, going to be the ones that are more likely to be on the retirement in the retirement age group, because they have nest eggs and lots of money, as it is expensive to do an ASQ or the even the Sandbox is fairly expensive. And I would imagine Samui Plus will be around the same pricing. More information to come on that. So there's a lot of stuff going around right now about people staying home. Stay home, stay home, stay home. That's the message that everyone is getting out to people, especially in and around Bangkok. So Bangkok and its 5 adjacent provinces, they're basically saying stay home, don't travel, don't do anything. And I want to kind of talk about the current state of infections across the country and how Thailand is responding to this. And this came up last night. I was reading the Tiger, and they had a very interesting article that said, and I just had it pulled up, but an ad came up. Give me 1 second. And the title of the article is "Lockdown Not Out of the Question," says the CCSA. This is not good news, okay? 12 up, 1 down, 27 watching. Come on, let's get more thumbs up. I agree. Thumbs up are free. If you're enjoying the content, feel free to hit the thumbs up button. I would greatly appreciate it. And so would the YouTube algorithm. That would be nice. But this is what I'm about to talk about is the state of how Thailand is handling what they anticipate to be a very high caseload of daily infections on the horizon. Filthos, welcome, my friend. Caught you this time, you sneaky Pete stealth live caster. You're supposed to know when I come on, man. You're a channel member. You should get every notification. Not sure why you don't. But I'm glad you're here. So it says this is regarding lockdown not out of the question, says the CCSA. Now, pay attention to this article because I guarantee you this is going to change every day between now and the next 2 weeks. And I'm going to tell you why in this article. So it says, will they, won't they? It's the question on everyone's lips as Bangkok residents wait to hear if officials will lock down the capital in a bid to curb the spread of the virus. A guy from the CCSA has not ruled it out, saying the CCSA is prepared to consider all options as new cases are expected to climb to 10,000 a day next week. So, Lao has thrown out a challenge. Lao, I love you, man. I love you, bro. We only got 27 people in here, but we'll see if anybody picks it up. Get 40 USD. I'll throw in 10 more. So Lyle's saying $40 US, and he means through the pinned PayPal link or Cash App at the top, and he will throw in 10 more, and that'll make $50 for DoMoreLife for the day. Awesome challenge, Lyle. Thank you very much, sir. We'll see if anybody takes you up on that. That would be that would definitely be nice for sure. I very much appreciate it. Again, contributions are not required, but certainly appreciate it. Now, they expect to see 10,000 cases a day next week. That's not really good. Quote, people should have a correct understanding of the term lockdown. Now, here's where it gets blurry because they don't want you to feel like you're in a lockdown, but really, what else are you going to call it? Okay, so let's check this out. People should have a correct understanding of the term lockdown. Measures which include a curfew taken by the government in April last year can be construed as a lockdown, but the restrictions imposed afterwards, such as shuttering of businesses and a ban of movement of people, were not. Well, if you ban movement of people, is that not a lockdown? I mean, I'm just asking. What else do you call it? I mean, we're playing semantics here, and I don't know. The Bangkok Post reports, according to Natapol, which is the guy from the CCSA, a lockdown may have to be imposed before the CCSA's next meeting on July 12th. If new infections and people who are no longer with us keep rising at the current rate. I just got an update on the lockdown, by the way. We'll read that in a second. At the current rate, he says the focus of any lockdown will be on Bangkok and the surrounding provinces, in addition to 4 southern provinces. By the way, those 4 southern provinces are where the kids that I teach at. So I mean, I would be out of work that much longer. Lyle says, hey, DoMoreLife, that's why we're all here. Thank you, Lyle. I love that support, man. I appreciate it very much. We'll see if we can. I hope we meet your challenge. I certainly do. That would be great. Make me feel better and give the channel a little more cushion and time to operate. So it's great. And thank you for it. I really appreciate it. So they're saying, let me just read that whole paragraph again. The Bangkok Post reports that according to Natapol, the guy at CCSA. A lockdown may have to be imposed before the CCSA's next meeting on July 12th. If new infections and people that pass keep rising at the current rate, he says the focus of any lockdown would be on Bangkok and the surrounding provinces, in addition to the 4 southern provinces. He also referred to a potential semi-lockdown for other areas of the country. Dino, what's up, my friend? Good to see you in the chat, bro. Glad to see you, man. That was a terrible salute, by the way. I'm not a military guy. But good to see you. I hadn't seen you in a long time. Very happy that you are with us, sir. Very, very happy about that. Now, continuing on, you have to note the little things and that the Thai media says, okay? So he also referred to a potential semi-lockdown for other areas of the country. So basically that means anywhere, that they deem it necessary. In other words, likely they would extend the authority to the provincial governors. And once what I've seen in the past, guys, once one provincial governor declares the LD for his province, you're going to see a whole bunch of other governors do the same thing. Filtho says LD, nah. Like the old Thai saying goes, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it's probably a flounder. Yeah, that's a very good point. Very good point. Dino, a long time no here. I know, man. It's been too long. I'm glad you're here, bro. Continuing on, the government has been very reluctant to impose another LD, despite this being the worst wave to hit the kingdom since the start of since it all started. Okay. Natapal says doing so will decimate livelihoods and businesses. Well, most of them are already decimated, to be honest with you. I did not see that, Anon, but I will definitely watch it. I woke up very late today. I had a stomach issue last night, so thankfully I had a day off today, and I woke up extremely late. Otherwise, I would have had this live stream earlier this morning. But I will watch his 40-minute rant, as he is not happy about a whole bunch of things going on in Thailand right now. So I'll definitely check that out. So it goes on, and this is probably why he's not happy, because I watch him daily as well. The government has been very reluctant to impose another LD, despite being the worst wave to hit the kingdom since the start of the pandemic. And then Natapal says, doing so will decimate livelihoods and businesses and be particularly harsh on those who are already on the breadline, meaning people that are receiving handouts to stay alive. Well, that's already happening. So if you impose another LD of any sort here, right, you're talking about the potential for some actual civil unrest. I mean, things could really get out of control in a hurry. And I don't want to see that happen. I hope that's not intended to scare anybody. That's not intended to shock or confuse anybody. It's just that every person at some point has their breaking point. And the Thais have been going through this for 14, 15 months now. And the expats that were here that had thriving businesses have held on just a little teeny tiny bit. And they're out of options. And like everybody's out of options. The food supply lines are super long in these cities. And, I mean, what do you do? What do you do next? We've talked about containment before. I don't see containment being me personally, again, this is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to be a specialist in any way, form, or fashion on any of this, but I just don't see how trying to contain at this point is going to help anything. The solution is the vaccine. That seems to be, that's the solution. And Thailand just can't get them in here fast enough. They've openly admitted that. They can't get them in here. And then when they do, they seem to have a problem getting registrations completed and other things. Anon says, basically, he lambasted the media for making this far worse than it is. I will definitely check out that video today for sure. According to the Ministry of Finance, nearly 300 billion baht was spent on remedial measures during the April 2020 lockdown. If we do it again, we would have find a lot of money to compensate people for their hardships. However, someone else, I can't pronounce his name, from the CCSA says concern is mounting over the highly contagious, whatever you want to call it, the version that's currently here in Thailand right now, which is said to become the dominant strain in the country by the end of the month. Currently, we have seen the figures rise from 1,000 to 2,000 and 4,000. It is estimated the number may reach 10,000 per day next week. I can almost, I'm not going to guarantee anything, but I can almost say with some type of certainty that you will see these measures come into place just because I've been living here long enough that I understand kind of how the Thai government's entities work. It's probably going to get worse here in Bangkok and surrounding provinces before it gets better. And I says Bangkok is already in a LD. Be prepared for increased S rates. Yeah. Massive increase. Yeah, 100%. I think that's true, and I think you will see that coming up very soon. And that's sad. That's really, really sad when stuff like that happening or starts to happen, I should say. Let me hit this really quick about the Samui. It says Bangkok Airways revises Koh Samui flights ahead of reopening. To prepare for the Samui Plus reopening program launching July 15th, Bangkok Airways is revising its schedule to operate 3 inbound flights and 3 outbound flights daily between Koh Samui and Bangkok. The new schedule released today and promoted by the Tourism Authority of Thailand and a press release this afternoon will feature a morning, afternoon, and evening flight option beginning July 15th. Flights will leave from Bangkok Suvarnabhumi Airport at 10:05 a.m., arriving in Samui at 11:35 a.m., and again at 2:35 p.m. to land in Samui at 4:05 p.m., and finally a 5:10 p.m. flight that will arrive at 6:40 p.m. The first flight from Koh Samui to Bangkok will be just after noon at 12:15 p.m., arriving in Bangkok at 1:45 p.m. The late afternoon flight will leave Samui at 4:45 and land in Bangkok at 6:15 p.m. The day's final flight and will be an evening flight leaving Koh Samui at 7:20 p.m. and arriving in Bangkok at 8:50 p.m. One-way flights are currently priced starting at 2,160 baht around the first week of the Samui Plus program, less than half of the normal price that is often lambasted for being too expensive. And yes, that is about half the price. So that's actually a little over $60 US, which is not bad because usually that flight's about 120 bucks, to be honest with you. So each flight travels for just 1 hour and 30 minutes, and due to the restrictions, will not offer traditional food and beverage service that Bangkok Airways is known for, even on shorter hot flights like Samui, a part of their reputation of calling themselves a boutique airline. To keep people masked up, even personal food and beverages passengers carry on board will not be allowed to be eaten on the plane. Bangkok Airways stressed that Samui flights will allow restrictions and guidelines laid out by the Ministry of Public Health and the Civil Aviation Authority of Thailand. These include social distancing and mandatory mask wearing throughout the duration of the flight, so they're not going to let you take your mask off. Koh Samui's airport has traditionally been Thailand's 7th busiest airport, transporting, that just goes into the news about that. So, and it says Koh Samui hopes to attract 2,000 tourists in its first month of reopening. That's probably doable, I would think. There are people there are people that will come, no doubt. This to give you an update on the situation of infections and just how grim the situation could be potentially here. A new terminal at BKK Airport, which is I pronounce it Savanabhumi. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but that's how I pronounce it. A new plan will have Bangkok residents heading to the airport, but not in a good way, as authorities have decided to convert Savanabhumi's airport's new terminal into a field hospital. The recently built Satellite 1 facilities are large enough to house a minimum of 5,000 beds for infected patients as outbreaks surge in the capital city. I'm not going to read on about that. I'm just going to tell you that they're looking at making these field hospitals in several different places. And, I don't know if it'll work. I really don't know what'll happen. Pronounce Warnerboom. Warnerboom. Okay. Gotcha, Anna. Thank you, bud. And this is a jab update. With limited doses, Thai government focuses on at-risk groups. So with limited doses of the AZ jab, along with the rapid spread, the Thai government's mass immunization campaign will first focus on using those doses to inoculate at-risk groups, starting with those in Bangkok, the epicenter of the last wave. This month's order of AZ jabs was cut in half from 10 million to 5 to 6 million, which is under the target set by the CCSA. The AZ Vax is produced locally by Sion Bioscience, which is wholly owned by a subsidiary of the Crown Property Bureau. The Thai manufacturing plant is planned to be the distribution hub for Southeast Asia, but last month several countries reported delays in deliveries said to be due to production problems. The campaign is now focusing primarily on those most at risk of infection, according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Department of Information News Division Director, and he gives his name. Basically, they're saying, I want to read you this paragraph that says, expats are included in Thai government's jab campaign. Foreigners in Bangkok who are 60 years old or older or who have an underlying health conditions that put them at risk of severe infection can pre-register for a jab. For more information, this website, they say, is back up now. ThailandIntervac.com. That seems to be the website. That was the original website that got pulled down. So they're looking at only doing the most vulnerable groups now. Is this going to have an impact? I don't know. We'll see what happens, and we'll hope we'll hope for the best. That's essentially really all that we can do. Filto says there's a benefit to the low hotel bookings that has been overlooked. Probably significantly reduced membership in the Pattaya Flying Club. True. Figure most Thais live in 1 or 2 story homes. That's very good. Suwarnaboom. Cool. That's how you pronounce the airport I'm talking about. Anna says Filto's good and probably overlooked point. I agree 100%. Let me make sure we've got stuff covered. We talked about traveling Thailand 2021 with certificates of entry. So you guys know about that. Good. I got it right. Anon says perfect. I talked about Thailand's current state of infections across the country and the response to the cases of infection. So if LDs come, they could come pretty much at any time, and then obviously they're going to give the powers to provincial governors to do whatever is necessary, whether or not they want to impose any kind of LD in their province. So that's going to pose a problem for domestic tourism and for international foreign tourism in Thailand, because as the tourists come into Thailand and complete their 14 days in Phuket or the Samui Plus program, whatever the case may be, where are they going to go afterwards? Is everything going to be okay because they've been jabbed and they're fully inoculated, or is there going to be a problem? We don't know. Make sure I didn't miss anything. So, foreign tourist arrivals in Thailand, just know that if you arrive for the Samui Plus plan or for the Phuket Sandbox, that you have to have a test on when you arrive. And when you arrive, you can't leave your hotel until that test returns. And usually that happens within the first day. Just understand that. We talked about foreign tourism in Thailand. And we talked about the Phuket Sandbox, the Samui Plus. We talked about Pattaya's reopening in September, which would be a huge boost to the economy of Thailand in general. Pattaya is a very, very famous tourist destination here in Thailand, and for good reason. It's a very interesting place. Bangkok Jack, who's a person that I don't go to very often because he says a lot of really bad things that I can't say on YouTube about Thailand sometimes. But he's got an interesting story here about the Thais and just actually what it is that they're going through. So I'm going to kind of give you a little brief overview of that. He says Pattaya is hungry or forced to look like beggars. And it gives unfortunate pictures here, but there were disgraceful scenes in Pattaya this week as starving residents were forced to line up like beggars by city officials. Although the cheerful and well-fed mayor later, this is Bangkok Jack's words. Okay, I'm repeating. Just want to make everything here. Yeah, massive boost, definitely. He says, although the cheerful and well-fed mayor later claimed after images of a Pattaya food donation went viral. Images, he had a typo. Images of a Pattaya food donation went viral across social media, that the pictures made the event seem sadder than it was. This intensive and clueless, I can't say the word, then appealed or ordered the local media not to smear the city's image. Up to towards 1,000 people had earlier been forced to sit along the beach without mats and were given a cheap styrofoam bowl to hold out for a little portion of rice and eggs, according to Bangkok Jack. And you can see the picture on here, and the picture is overwhelming, to be honest with you. If you guys want to check it out, you can go to bangkokjack.com. I'm not going to read on. Basically, he just points to the fact that it is as bad as it looks. And Bangkok Jack, he really gets to the point, and he really says what's on his mind, and he doesn't really care what other people think. So at this point, so Lyle threw out a challenge for I think $40, and then he would throw in 10 to get a $50 USD $50 day here via the PayPal link or Cash App that is tagged at the top. So far, we haven't received anything, and that's fine because it's not a requirement. But I thought I would just say that, give everybody a chance. If they wanted to contribute, you most certainly can. And if not, we'll start wrapping it up, and I'll wrap it up with the way I always do, which is kind of just a little mini personal update. And as I said at the beginning, there's really not a lot to update because in terms of my job, I'm still on the same furlough, which is half month's pay. Maybe a little bit more if I get to work some extra days, but we don't know if that's going to happen or not. And continuing on, I don't know what the future holds. there. I'm going to try to get a members only video out possibly sometime this weekend. So for those of you that are channel members, I'll give you a more in-depth update on where I'm at and what I'm doing. I really hope the information in this video that I passed along brings you guys directly up to speed on everything, and the people that help provide information with this, like Anon and Mike and other people that really provide a lot of information on here. I really appreciate you guys taking time out to make sure that the information is correct, accurate, and people are receiving the correct information, because that's very important. Just so you know, this is not a news channel, and this is a channel where we talk about doing more life, and we talk about how to do that. But right now, in order to, if you consider traveling and international tourism doing more life, right now the best way for me to help you do that is to provide you with the news, especially if you're coming to Thailand. There are some other countries that have provisions in place that we'll talk about probably over the weekend. This weekend live streams will be as normal. Saturday would be 9 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. Bangkok time, which will be 10 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States for both days, Saturday and Sunday. So I encourage you to join in on those streams, as those are always fun streams. Definitely on Saturday. We will have one. There is the potential that we may not have a Sunday live stream this weekend, but I will let you guys know that on Saturday for sure. That's just a possibility. Dino says there can't be any more LDs. The government needs to run the gauntlet, let the people make money again. You know what? That's probably one of the most fair statements that I've heard in a long time. Continuing LDs would be, in my opinion, devastating to the Thai economy, which is already devastated. It would be devastating to the people of Thailand, who are already devastated. And if they do that, you're going to see more people leaving Thailand, not just expats, but you'll see other people that leave Thailand. And it'll be a sad state of affairs. I forgot to point out one thing real quick. Let me make sure I get this information to you guys, because this was kind of important. And I says, by the way, I can guarantee that my girlfriend and I will be busy on Saturday and most likely on Sunday. LOL. I hear you, brother. I understood. Filtho says thieves and criminals used to say your money or your life. This health event has let government say your money and your life, which are worse. That is a very interesting comment, Filthos. I'm hesitant to comment on it here, but I think it's accurate. And you know, I'm kind of at a loss for. I'm not at a loss for words. I could answer it, but because of we always try to make sure on this channel we stay within YouTube's community guidelines, and in order to answer that question, I would be threading the line, so to speak, and we definitely don't want to do that. So I would think that that's a very good question. You and I can talk about that offline for sure. 100%. So this comes from a tweet from Richard Barrow. I'm sure you guys know who Richard Barrow is. He says, breaking. The Ministry of Public Health are proposing. So now they are proposing. This was 24 minutes ago. Are proposing a lockdown similar to the restrictions we had in April 2020. You may be told to stay home and only leave for essential reasons, such as to buy food, see a doctor, or get a jab. The CCSA will meet soon to discuss this. And then he gives the Thai version to that link. And he also tweeted a tweet which I thought was fair but important, but at the same time, it's not something you want to hear if you live here, okay, or if you're a tourist coming here. This is not the news that you want to hear. It says, with all the talk about an LD, I would strongly urge people not to travel too far from home. If it comes, it might come suddenly and you could end up stranded somewhere. This is not the time to go away somewhere on a holiday. Play safe and stay home as much as you can. Now, this guy's a big stickler for, staying home and the jabs and everything else. So his opinion's going to be a little biased in that way, which is fine. Everybody has their own opinion, and I'm not here to judge anybody on the way they see it. Myself, I don't like the freedom of movement being restrained. I think it should be a personal choice, but that's just my opinion. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a specialist in anything. This is my opinion I'm giving. This is not advice or suggestions. Dino, yeah, you're down in Australia, so you're in an LD now. I understand. One of the guys I work with is Australian, and he's just distraught about the situation there. So I feel bad for you guys. I want to remind you, not that I'm going to stop right here, but I just want to remind you on your way out, please hit the thumbs up button. I would greatly appreciate it if you found this information valuable. And this is a live stream that you could potentially share on your social media that would update people on what's going on in Thailand right now who are looking to travel to Thailand. Later on, I'm going to give, and when I say later on, I don't mean on this live stream, but possibly next week, depending on work situation again. I'm going to talk about other places to go because right now the travel in Thailand is very limited, it is limited because there are already provisions in place in certain provinces that you have to undergo certain things in order to travel to their province, such as testing or quarantines, etc. Every province has its own set of guidelines for that. Now, what I will say is, according to what we've read and went over in the live stream, in this live stream, it seems as though they are expecting it to get worse. And if they're expecting it to get worse, then you can probably expect the travel restrictions to get worse as well. How long that'll last and what the total impact will have on the economy and the businesses, I have no idea. But it can't be good. That's for sure. I don't mean that the slowing the spread is not good. It's slowing the spread is good, but the impact that it will have on the economy of Thailand overall, the businesses and the Thais and the expats who are employed here will definitely see negative consequences from that. And that's just unfortunate. Dino says, every time we get an LD in Australia, it happens the same in Thailand. Seems fishy to me. I hear you. It's always the same time, and it will keep happening till they jab enough. Yep, that's pretty much what's going to happen here, too, I feel like. Until they get enough people jabbed, that's what's going to happen. Dino says, when I get there, I want to check Laos out, too. You should. Laos is a pretty decent-looking country. I've only been to Savannakhet, but I really enjoyed my time there. Anon says, Dino J, with the way they are talking in the States, I think they'll try to impose LDs even after jabs and with no real basis. That may be true. May be 100% true, Anon. Dino says, up for a road trip, Jez. I would love to go. Ross and I talked about going on a road trip, but the fact is, with me being in this partial furlough for last month, I received half month's pay. This month, I'm going to receive half month's pay. Now, they're talking about the only real update I have, personal update for you guys, is yesterday. I was told it could be because the school semester has already started, right? And most government schools are teaching online to their schools, but the schools that we teach online are currently in some of the dark red provinces in the south. So we can't teach them. And with it being so late in the semester already, we don't know if we're going to be able to get a semester's worth of curriculum in at all. So I could be on, theoretically, if I have to stay at this job, I could be on half month's pay until November, when the second semester of our school year starts. That would be pretty much detrimental to my ability to stay in Thailand without significant financial resources that were coming in. Lottery is still an option, but the restrictions there are on the increase as well. And really, I have to wait and see what's going to happen here because I'm coming from Bangkok. Right now, Thailand, the provinces of Thailand, especially outside of Bangkok and the surrounding provinces, look at people coming from those provinces as, very, very high risk. They're not super inviting. It is what it is. Some other opportunities have arisen. So for me to move 2 hours north, but potentially have jobs 2 hours to the south, would make for another, conundrum. And frankly, the opportunities to the south seem to be better than opportunities to the north. More on that. I'll talk to you channel members about that in a video. We'll do a live stream and talk. Filtho says, given the expanding number of cases in Thailand in face of slowly expanding, but still expanding number of jabs, do you think either ineffective or placebo jabs are being given to placate the people? I'm going to say no, because one would hope that a population would not do that, or a government would not do that to a population. I guess it's certainly a possibility, but at the same time, I would hope and pray and think, just for YouTube purposes, I'm going to take that one down, but we'll address it, Filthos. I don't think that that's happening right now, because the reality is they're telling everybody they're out of jabs, and they're telling people that we're not going to have them until this date. And you got a point. And hey, who am I to know anything about that? Like I said, I'm not an expert on anything when it comes to medical or this issue going around the world. I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor, not a scientist. Nothing I say should be taken as facts or medical advice ever. But I can tell you that I could foresee something like that happening. So it's always a possibility, but at the same time, I think that the Thais are so scared of the illness that if the government did that and the Thai people found out about it, it would ultimately change the entire sentiment, and not only change the sentiment, but change the attitude of the people here in Thailand. I think that would be very dangerous for the government to do, and let's hope and pray that they don't do anything like that. And I'm certainly not accusing them in any way, form, or fashion of doing that. I don't think they're doing that. But while the realm of possibility exists, let's hope that that doesn't happen. That would be great. So with that, we'll pretty much wrap it up, guys. And I'll talk to you channel members more about having to wait until November with the half pay stuff. Yeah, and till November, and we'll see what happens. It may very well end up that I end up back in the USA, and if I do, this channel will go along with me. And I'm currently working on some backup channels on some other platforms to make sure, just in case this channel happens to go down for some reason. I don't know why it would, but just in case, you never know. You guys will be able to get in touch with me, and I'll do my best to stay with my family who's currently traveling around the USA, and stay with them as long as I can, and bring you guys some fantastic content from the US, keep you up to date on what's going on over there. And we'll still be doing more life one way or the other. We'll be growing and we'll be learning, and we may expand into some other topics and that kind of thing. So more to come on that. If you're a channel member, we'll have a live stream sometime soon. Promise you guys. We'll get one definitely before the end of the month, but I'll try to get one in before the 17th or so of July, and we'll talk more, because I have more information on my job situation then, and we'll talk more about what my plans are. And you guys can also give me some ideas on if I have to leave Thailand, maybe a different country to go to rather than going back to the US. I'm open to any and all suggestions. And yeah, I'm open to whatever. So I really hope you guys got something out of this video today. Travel and tourism in Thailand 2021. This is the update for July the 8th. And as things change, I will keep you informed. Please don't miss the live streams this weekend, as they will have much more valuable information. I plan to take tomorrow. I do have to work tomorrow, so I plan to, if I make a video, it will be another short. If you did not see the short yesterday, you should check that out. It's only about 42 seconds long. The video I put up regarding the one positive case in the Phuket Sandbox. Check it out. Give it a like if you like it, and please, by all means, guys, if you have a favorite Do More Life video anywhere in the 900 plus videos that are on this channel, I encourage you to share those with as many people as you can, as we definitely want to see that 30,000 subscriber mark crossed and continue to see the channel grow. So thank you all so much for being in the live stream today. Thank you all. Thank you, Lyle, for the challenge, even though we didn't get any of it. I'm sure that there are some people that will watch this on the replay, and you will probably hear me thank them on Saturday for their contributions, because that typically happens. But in this channel, especially at this time, because the vast majority of the people that do a lot of the monetary contributions are in the bed at this time in America and in the western part of the world. So everybody, I really just want to say thank you for another great live stream. Thank you for the additional information you guys have provided. Thank you for the conversation and dialogue. As always, whatever you do today, be sure you do more life, and I will see you guys this weekend. Until then, take care, be safe. If you have questions, by all means, hit me up, let me know, or leave a question in the comments. Take care, guys. Much love to everybody. See ya on the next one.